Hey Beth, how are you?
I'm doing good. How are you?
Good, so nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you too. I watched Sheroes the other day, absolutely loved it. So thank you for making it.
Well, thank you so much for taking the time to watch it. I really appreciate that.
Of course, of course. Is it all right if I jump right in with my questions?
Dive right in, please.
All right. So you're the writer and the director for this film. What inspired you to tell this story?
I grew up loving movies as a kid, and I would get lost in those late 80s, early 90s great action films, which I just felt were this great adrenaline fueled ride that we would go on. And those films were with the Schwarzeneggers and the Stallones and the Willises back then. And I wanted to create a film that reflected that same type of ride that I would go on, but I wanted to go on this ride with, strong women in that same type of heroic role that I watched, back in the day. So I sat down and started crafting a story that, you know, reflected that type of vibe and built out these, strong, fierce, and loyal characters who have each other's backs and come on in and kick ass and save the day together.
And I loved it for sure.
Thank you so much.
Um, are the characters based off of people you know?
It's funny. I would say no, but probably yes. Who they are, I'd have to think about it. But yeah, I feel like when the writing process, you're drawing on experiences and connections and relationships with like everybody you've known. So there's probably a sprinkle of someone in here and a sprinkle of somebody in there, but no one in particular.
Um, as a male director, what was it like writing for women?
It's funny. I got asked that by the women that were in the film, and my answer was I didn't think about it. I just wrote for people. So I wasn't writing for a man or for a woman. I was just writing the film as for a person playing those roles. A person that has connections, a person that has relationships, a person that's flawed, a person that's loyal to their friends. So it there wasn't I wasn't trying to write necessarily for women. I was just trying to create characters that were people.
I gotcha. I gotcha. Um, One thing I really liked about the character dynamic was they're going on this journey and it's this epic journey, but they're also taking time to talk about their little side journey. So like the one character sleeping with the other character's dad. Like I just really like that. So when you have like an ensemble cast like this and you've got like multiple things going on, um, how hard is it to kind of keep things straight and know like who's doing what and when?
Are you talking through the writing process or through the actual filmmaking process?
Could be both.
Well, through the writing process, it's just a bunch of like trial and error and putting these pieces of the puzzle together and making sure that every character has some backstory and some obstacles to overcome that need to be evident in the film, but doesn't necessarily detract from the journey that they're going on. So, like the particular thing that you brought up was, you know, there to create tension between the two characters. And that kind of followed through. And every character needs to kind of have tension between them or through something. And for me, I wanted those minor issues to be resolved by the end of the film. So everybody has obstacles that they need to overcome, and hopefully through the journey that they go on, they come out of this better and a little bit smarter in terms of how they could deal with problems they had before leaving on this trip.
Nice. Um, and you mentioned that you loved action films from the 80s and 90s. Were there any particular tropes that you either took from those movies to use or that you really wanted to stay away from?
I think I was just, it's the same thing with where the character's written based on anybody. Writing is reflective of experience, and my experience seeing so many movies over the years, I'm sure shaped where this film came from and where some ideas potentially were slowly generated in the back of my brain, but nothing really in particular, other than the obvious scene that Isabel does in the villa, where she recites a particular monologue from a well-known film.
Right. It was great in that film and great in this one.
Thank you. Yeah, she was fantastic.
Um, but yeah, the whole cast was incredible. What went into casting the core four, and then what kind of made them perfect for these roles?
Well, for me, it was about, going through an extensive process of meeting so many great and wonderful, talented actors. And then it was about connection. It was about, finding people that I really connected with, that really understood the character and understood the world that I was trying to create. And I felt that, an intense and immediate connection with Sasha, Wallace, Isabel, and Sky when I met them.
I love that. That's awesome. Um, what do you hope people take away from watching this?
Two things. One is if I have been able to work with so many great people, and we've been able to create a film that for 90 minutes you can get lost in and just escape everything going on in the world around you and enjoy yourself, that would be magic. If also I can showcase this kind of fierce loyalty that these women have for one another, and create that same adrenaline fueled ride that I watched growing up, and you can go on this journey with these four women and see them kick ass and save the day, and feel somewhat inspired and motivated, then I would be thrilled.
I love that. I love that. And I'm sure people will take those away for sure.
Certainly hope so.
Um, what are you most excited for people to see when they watch the movie?
Um, I'm just excited for them to see the growth of these characters and where they start out and where they end. I'm excited for them to see the twists and turns that come about throughout the story. I'm excited to see about the way that these women love each other, and in spite of all of their individual flaws, which some of them may resent in one another, they still will stop at nothing to have each other's backs.
Thank you for that. Um, if people want to stay up to date with you, your work, this movie, other upcoming projects, where can we follow you?
Wow. IMDb is the best place to find me and find projects that I'm working on and see what's coming up next and what I've just finished.
All right. Are you able to tease anything about what's coming next for you?
Next film I'm directing is a film called Cam 48. And it's the story of this young woman who's into sports betting and gambling, and she owes a lot of bookies a lot of money. And she inadvertently finds a camcorder in a pawn shop that shoots 48 hours in the future. So she uses that camera to her advantage until she inadvertently films her own murder and has 48 hours to figure out where this camera came from and who's after her.
That sounds intense, but incredible at the same time.
It'd be another fun ride.
All right. Awesome. Before I let you go, is there anything else that you'd like to add about Sheroes?
Just that this was the greatest creative experience I've ever had in my filmmaking career. And I'm thrilled that I now have the opportunity to share all the great and hard work that everybody put into this film with everyone to enjoy, and hope they check it out on June 23rd in select theaters and on digital.
Awesome. All right. Thank you so much for chatting. Again, I love the movie.
I'm so happy. Thank you so much for taking the time to watch it and for talking with me about it today, Matt. This was awesome.